So we are very glad today to have this final event, which is an event that we prefer to make it maybe in presence, not virtually online, but unfortunately for the pandemic situation, we are obliged to have this event online. I also thank our partners from Tunisia, the University of Sfax, of course, and the Institute of Fisheries and Aquaculture in Bizet, and our partner from Spain, the Politécnico de Madrid. So I would like to share some slides with you, just an introduction to the context in which we make this project together. And it will be my pleasure, of course, to share with you these slides. So, first of all, if you speak about the Mediterranean area is seen from the outer space. There is no borders. The only, let's say, border that you can see is the atmosphere, this tiny thing that is above there, and I hope we will protect at least that because of the climate change and all the conditions that are getting worse, unfortunately. But we have some bridges, so a number of bridges between the two shores, between the European shore and the African shore, and this is the good point of the collaboration in the Euro-Mediterranean area. Particularly recently, we have seen that we have a lot of scientific cooperation, and this is important. Sometimes we do speak and dialogue with the science rather than in a political way. And this is exactly what we call the science diplomacy. That is a good instrument to connect the two shores. Unfortunately, the Mediterranean also has a lot of problems. And one of them is, of course, the unemployability of youth. And these are some numbers. I took some statistics. And you can see the high unemployability rate, at least for the northern shore. Try to imagine also in the southern part. This somehow has impacted the youth. Of course, if you want to respond to this, I took these words of Marie Curie. She said that you cannot hope to build a better world without improving the individuals. And exactly this is behind our, let's say, interest through this project that I thank again the European Commission for supporting it financially and also giving us some indication on how to move. So as you understand, we are investing in human capital and people, of course, in women and youth. This is important in the area of the Euro-Mediterranean region, and trying to match the skills and jobs, particularly trying to respond to the labor market need by building capacities of those and preparing some profiles. And in this particular project, when you speak about sustainable blue economy, you have a lot of things to do. The market is still not saturated, and we need to work on that. For this reason, we have created many schemes. One of them, of course, the training of trainers, and another scheme was the mobility. The mobility, unfortunately, we changed the scheme because, as you understood, of the pandemic situation. But was important that in the mobility scheme, we have also succeeded to have some of the people that we listen to them later on as testimonial to this important activity at the end of the day. So this was also an important, let's say, activity of the project. We have seen people that are moving from north to south, and also from south to north. This is important. I conclude here because I would like also to go also to the results. Today is somehow also possibility to explore what we have done and also expose the results to other colleagues. I have seen and they announced a few minutes ago from people are connected, at least 100 now. I have seen 110, 115 people are connected following our event. So I conclude with these nice words. It's African and particularly Mediterranean way of saying things. So if you want to walk fast, you walk alone. But if you want to walk far, you walk together. And this is exactly how we build this project. We work with people, as I said in the beginning, with partners from the Mediterranean to build capacity of young people in the Mediterranean. I ask Julia if it is possible to launch the video to present the project.
The sea has a fundamental role in economic development for coastal communities and their states. Blue economy sectors are an important engine for global economy with enormous potential for innovation and for sustainable and inclusive prosperity. Indeed, the Mediterranean area is exposed to environmental threats related to climate change, growing maritime traffic and pollution, the overexploitation of fish stocks, and the invasion of alien species. The region's geopolitical complexity may represent a constraint on implementing framework conditions favourable to blue economic growth. The Deep Blue project aims at developing skills, building capacities, and enhancing geopolitical dialogue in the Western Mediterranean region through increased international scientific cooperation. It focuses on the development and sharing of tools for monitoring and assessing environmental impacts of specific maritime activities, according to an ecosystem-based approach.
My name is Gina Telj. I am from Lebanon, a marine biologist, founder of Diaries of the Ocean, a local NGO.
My name is Piero Fontolan and I work for the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD in Paris.
My name is Simone Libralato. I am a marine ecologist, scientist working at the National Institute of Oceanography and Experimental Geophysics.
I'm Rim Nouri. I'm associate professor in Higher Institute of Fishing Technologies and Aquacultures.
I work for the Business Development Department in a company based in Malta called Aquabiotech Group.
Its goal is to share knowledge, foster Euromed cooperation, boost public and private synergies, promote mobility for blue jobs, and raise awareness on blue economy challenges.
I feel this initiative is what we need to foster networking among people all over the Mediterranean, for example.
Cooperation is all about dialogues.
If we share the knowledge, we share the capabilities of understanding and to provide the best solution.
Sharing tools and monitoring structures and studies and data and information is, of course, absolutely important because otherwise everyone will have to do the same thing from scratch all over again. It's just a waste of resources and money and time and human power and everything.
Because the sea has no borders.
Deep Blue, developing education and employment partnerships for a sustainable blue growth in the Western Mediterranean.
Thank you very much. So now we go to the project work plan and the management and results part. So I start immediately with activity number 1, which is the training of trainers, sea governance and blue growth. And the work package leader is OGS, the National Institute of Oceanography and Applied Geophysics. And I immediately ask Maria Zanenghi, please, to present this activity. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the floor. I would like to present the activity, the first activity implemented during the Deep Blue project, which is during the summer 2019, September. This is the advanced training on sea governance and blue growth balancing sustainable use and conservation through marine spatial planning in the field of fisheries and aquaculture. This activity contributed to the achievement of the project goal, aiming at empowering local governance in the field of fisheries and aquaculture. So, specific for this training, I can tell that this took place in Italy, in Trieste, where also the OGS, the coordinating, the VUP leader, has his premises. And finally gathered together 18 participants from 10 countries: Algeria, Egypt, Italy, Portugal, Spain, Tunisia, Malta, Lebanon, Mauritania, and Jordan. So it took 5 days in Trieste, and we tackled several issues. We had young researchers, representative of the private sector and also ventures capitals, and some representative of the local authorities. This is the main results of this first activity. I can share with you also this picture. This was one of the activities that we have the opportunity to implement in presence. So I think it's enough for the slot to go on the next activity implemented by SPACs. I can stop sharing my screen.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so the second activity and the project leader is the University of SPACs Department of Life Science, and I ask Professor Lubna Budaya, and she will be speaking about training of trainers, environmental monitor techniques. Lubna, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Munir. Hi, everybody. I am Lubna Budaya. I am associate professor in the University of SPACs, and I will present the second activity of the Deep Blue project. So this activity is training for trainers on the environmental monitoring techniques. This activity, coordinated by the University of SPACs, took place in SPACs in Tunisia between 21st and 25th of October 2019. This activity aims to sharing knowledge and scientific expertise on methodology and modeling tools in assessing environmental impact in the marine sector, and creating a common methodological ground for high-skilled experts. In this activity, 29 participants from different public and private sectors and international organizations have participated. There are from 11 nationalities, one from Romania, one from Mauritania, one from Romania, and 4 from the northern shore of the Mediterranean, and 5 from the southern shore. In this activity, also we called on 11 national and international speakers, and we tried to combine between the theoretical training, practical exercises, and team group, and we have organized a study visit. So in the first day after the registration and the opening session, Captain Azdin Qassam from the Tunisian Maritime Cluster spoke about the business and intelligence capacity, and Piero Fontelaun from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development speak about sustainable ocean economy. And in the afternoon session, Professor Michael Yott from the Institute of Estuary and Coastal Study from the UK gave 2 conferences and the practical exercises and the integrative assessment of management system, and implementing and innovating marine monitoring approaches for assessing marine environmental status. On the next day, dedicated to the innovative marine monitoring, we started by a presentation of the observing systems by Dr. Alessandro Cris from the OGS, and then Drs. Stefano Salon and Simone Librellato, also from OGS, introduced the Copernicus program and the ecosystem modeling, and they coordinate the practical exercise to show for participants how to register on the Copernicus website, which will be used then for team group and practical exercises. In the afternoon, we organize a visit to the Center of Biotechnology of Sfax, where Professor Saber Mousmoudi presented the next generation sequencing and its usefulness for environmental monitoring. On the third day, we start by a presentation of tools supporting governance and planning by Dr. Alessandro Cruz, and then Dr. Simone Librelato coordinate practical exercise on marine ecosystem modeling. Then Professor Afef Hamemi Marrechi from the Faculty of Law of Sfax gave an idea about the Tunisian experience on the governance and management of coastal waters. On the fourth day, we organized an excursion to the Kirkina traditional fisheries, the Sharfia. The Sharfia is a sustainable fishing technique typical to Tunisia and in particular to Kirkina Islands. The fifth day is dedicated to open data service. So Professor Dominique Ovaton from Mercator Océan, France, and Dr. Stefano Salon, Gianpiero Casarino, Simone Librelato, Alessandro Cri, and Alessandro Cris introduce the Copernicus and the marine service dedicated to the Marine Sea and coordinate a practical exercise with participants. During these 6 days, we have also organized some cultural activities. And at the end of this activity, our participants and trainers were followed to fill an evaluation survey. So they evaluate the majority of our participants and our trainers evaluate the daily workload as adequate and the scientific program and content as very good. And they greatly appreciate the organization, the logistic organization and the coordinator before and during the activity. And finally, I would like to thank all our participants and our trainers for the friendly atmosphere and the team spirit. And I would like also thank Professor Abdelwahed Moukni, the president of the University of Sfax, and the University of Sfax teams, Professor Lasad Neifer and Amin Elash and Mohamed Jaraya for their support. And thank you for your question. Sorry. Now I ask to Julia to share with us the video of this activity. So now I will send the floor for two from between our trainers and two participants. So we start by Dr. Salon.
Good afternoon to all the participants. First of all, many thanks, dear Lobna, for having invited me to the Deep Blue Project final event. I am so sorry I cannot be present today with all of you, but I really wanted to give a testimonial about the unforgettable experience of the workshop organized in Sfax during October 2019. It was a week full of inspiration and contagious enthusiasm. I remember very well the high quality of the organization held by Lobna and her staff, the interest and the curiosity of the participants, their dedication and commitment during all the workshop activities, and in particular at the lesson about the Copernicus Marine Service products. I think that exposing the students to such an enormous amount of knowledge, information, and data present in the Copernicus catalog was one among the most satisfying activities I have done during the recent years. My vivid memories are strongly related to the music and dances during the social dinner, the tour in the Sfax Medina and at the fish market, and the absolutely outstanding trip to Kerkena Island. Each day was somehow special, with the students and collaborators of Lobna, Imen, Maha, Noor, among the others, always ready to help and support us. They were so kind, caring and attentive, helping us to discover the history and the culture of the Sfax region, fish food and pastry included. The day at Kerkena was the absolute peak of the social activities. The perfect organization, the boat trip with the fishermen to see the amazing harfias, sorry for my pronunciation, the stories told by the people we visited and their precious hospitality, the lunch near the beach with the sound of the traditional music. I think Deep Blue has done a lot for advancing blue growth skill in the Mediterranean community, and workshops like the one in Sfax have the potential to involve scientists, not just with the participation to the event, but also emotionally creating and strengthening networks. Thanks a lot.
I can see Simone is connected, so Simone
Yes.
Liberato, please take the floor. Thank you, Simone.
Hi,
Good
Simone.
afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm Simone Libralato. I'm a marine ecologist working at OGS, and I was one of the trainers in Sfax. To be honest, it's one of the best opportunities I had because I've been training in several occasions, but it was a very excellent atmosphere. Imagine I was teaching a little bit of marine ecosystem modeling, trying to focus on the aims, on the data, on the complexity of the tools that we can use. And we were also using a complex ecosystem model that we already developed at OGS for the Mediterranean Sea, and we were working all together. I was amazed by the capabilities of the students in a so short time to be able to work on the model, to make very interesting questions about the use of data and what are the data necessary and how to use the information that are available in different parts of the Mediterranean according to their experience to be used in the model. It was an excellent opportunity for trying to test, for example, where to place marine protected areas in the Mediterranean. And we all were playing together with different ideas, with different backgrounds, where to place, where is the best place spot to for protecting the sea in the Mediterranean Sea from fisheries effects and for improving our the resources, the marine resources situation. I really appreciate a lot the questions. There was an interactive, very active group. I see most of them also, some of them are here today with us. I hope they enjoyed because for me it was really a kind of a exchange. It was not teaching, it was also an exchange because of the questions, of the issues. To be honest, with some of the students I'm still in contact, because the atmosphere was so pervasive, so united, there was so interaction between students and teachers that still I'm receiving emails and messages for scientific information. Of course, well, I have to be honest, I miss the field trip, but for the rest, I really enjoyed one of the best experience in terms of teaching and this kind of conference school. Thank you very much. It was a great opportunity. I hope also for the students. Thank you.
Thank you, Simone. Thank you for all those compliments. We are happy to see you with us in this training, and we hope see you in other opportunities. Thank you, Simone. Maria, please, is it possible to share the, yes, okay. Simone, Stefano Selon, the testimonies of Stefano Selon. Stefano, I am really very happy to hearing this from you and from Simone. Now we send the floor for two from our participants. We start by Dina Darwish from Egypt. Dina?
Hello.
Hello, Dina.
Hello, Lubna. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
I hope that all of you are fine, happy, and in a good health. I am Dina Darwish. I am a researcher in Marine Pollution Lab, Marine Environment Division at the National Institute of Oceanography and Fisheries, Egypt. It was a pleasure to be one of the participants in the activity of trainers on advanced scientific knowledge of the marine environment held in Sfax during October 2019. I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me participate at this wonderful program, and many thanks to the organizers for all their hard work and coordination in developing and delivering such a major event. The through the program, each lecture demonstrated tremendous skill and conducted their lectures in a professional manner. I was then impressed with the ability of the organizers and lecturers to plan this program. Also, every detail was considered and every issue was addressed efficiently and confidently. I can still feel the energy buzzing from the activity. What a wonderful success it was. Also, it was my honor to be trained by the experienced lecturers of OGS and the University of Sfax. This gave me the chance to deepen my geographical knowledge and gain experience that was extremely exciting, fun, and valuable for both my studies and overall general development. Besides that, I enjoyed visiting some wonderful places like Kirkana Island, and I recognized the traditional fisheries there and gained a valuable knowledge. Kirkana was a new place for me, and I recognized a new cultures, arts, and tradition. Finally, I would like to say that Mrs. Lubna and Dr. Lasad were guiding us every step of the way and remained front and center until the end of the activity. If you are planning an activity, Lubna is the person you want to hire. The activity went smoothly with great attendance and high participant satisfaction. Lubna made everything easy for us and covered all the fine details. Thank you so much, Lubna, and many thanks to all of you.
Thank you, Dina. Thank you for your testimonials. Now we have with us Tomislav Jovic. Hi, Tomislav.
Hi, Lubna. Greetings to everybody. I'm Tomislav Jovic. I'm coming from Split, Croatia. I'm working as a junior scientist at the Institute of Oceanography and Fisheries in Split. And this event 2 years ago was a very interesting workshop. Not only to listen, but to participate, to active work, to participate with other participants in this workshop, and to listen different experts like Simone or Stefano from different area related to ocean science, like biology, chemistry, and it was very interesting for me because I'm a physicist and to participate and to interact with other scientists and to learn about new methods and new approaches to in solving these various problems related with ocean science and various problems like climate problems and etc. So I can speak about this event in hours because it was a very good, very interesting, and very positive thing, and in which I have participated. So thank you, Lobna, that you invited me at this event and that you invited me to this online presentation, so I can speak very positively about this event. Thank you.
Thank you again, Tomislav. Thank you. Finally, I would like to thank OGS team, to thank all our partners, UPN, ISPAB here in Bizert, and we are happy for this collaboration with OGS, and we hope collaborate in other opportunities. Thank you again, and bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Lubna, and my compliments to the work done by University of Sfax at the Department of Life Science. So thanks to Lubna Budai and also to Lasad Neifer and all the team in Sfax, and my compliments and the compliments of the team of OGS. So let's move on, and I go to the activity 3. It's the mobility program, and I have the pleasure to invite Elisa Navarro from the Polytechnic University of Madrid. The Politécnico de Madrid is the work package co-leader in this case, and Elisa Navarro, please, the floor is yours, Elisa.
Hi, Monir, thank you so much for your kind words. And please, let me share my screen in order to explain this activity. Well, to increase capacity building for blue career development and foster brain circulation across the Euro-Mediterranean region is the main objective in this work package. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending this Deep Blue Project final event. My name is Elisa Navarro from Innovation and Entrepreneurship in the Universidad Politécnica de Madrid, one of the co-leaders and coordinators in this activity together with OGS. I would to introduce the results of the development and implementation of 2.5 years working in these interesting activities, and then give the floor to the main partners, the participants and institutions that have participated during this month. The Deep Blue mobility action fit with the general objective about education and skills. It promotes networking and collaboration between marine and maritime, port and logistic-related education and training and institutes in the Mediterranean in order to develop relevant skills and promote maritime professions in cooperation with business and public authorities. In this sense, the specific objectives of the working package were to accelerate the transfer and circulation of scientific knowledge among partner countries, to develop a cooperative network of training institutions, to enable the beneficiaries to acquire more competencies in the field and to train new multidisciplinary professionals able to respond to the blue economy needs and challenges, to increase brain circulation and experience sharing in the Western Mediterranean region, to increase and encourage professional mobility and the exchange of good practice, to ensure young professionals are fully prepared to enter the blue job market, to fill in the knowledge gaps and increase North-South cooperation, and to support public and private synergies between public education and the private enterprises in the marine and maritime sector. The project promoted a number of mobility opportunities for 30 young beneficiaries, offering an innovative training on the job through a job shadowing experience for 3 to 6 months. Researchers, PhD students, young scientists, engineering, and entry-level high qualifying professionals coming from the broader Mediterranean region. By working through the workday as a shadow of an experienced officer, host institution tutor or supervisor, the objective was to reinforce capacities through first-hand knowledge and good practices sharing. The selected profiles had a unique opportunity to gain an insight into specific areas related to blue economy sector. Well, finally, 130 applications were received. Before the pandemic spread, Deep Blue Mobility Action gave the opportunity to 6 young researchers and experts in the marine field to develop a job shadowing in selected hosting organizations within the Mediterranean area. All of them left their origin countries before the border closures due to the pandemic. These activities changed its nature because of the pandemic outbreak. Most of their internship was developed online in their destination countries. They were forced to take in consideration the local rules and adapt these learning expected results under the new conditions. The remaining candidates had to readapt the dates and the activities for the new online formula at a reduced period and a distance working. The online formula forced to adapt the shape of the activities under these new conditions. In this sense, we received few withdrawals due to other activity job opportunities. Nevertheless, some candidates reached to implement the online training from September to December 2020, another for January to April 2021. Regarding the hosting institutions, they came from a total of 9 countries, which indicates the international nature of this activity. Well, according to the type of project, 86% were interested in a research mobility program and the 40% in a professional experience. Some of the young researchers involved also published articles and scientist papers and promoted Deep Blue in seminars and events. All of them have achieved an improvement in their curricula and continue with their research career or get a new job in the sector. Some of their stories are on a new chapter on the Deep Blue website under the Deep Blue Stories tab. Well, regarding the incoming application in terms of the proportion of candidates, there were many more candidates from the southern shore who wanted to join the mobility program. 6 fellowships were developed from national candidates from northern shore to southern shore countries, and 16 candidates coming from one of the southern Mediterranean country were requested to spend the traineeship in one of the countries of the Northwest Mediterranean. Initially, the following distribution and periods were planned: 10 fellowship for 3 months mobility activities, and 20 fellowships for 6 month mobility activities. Only 5 candidates of the mobility formula spent 6 months in the destination countries. Due to the health situation and the remote formula as the only possible way of developing the activities, the remaining candidates have to develop the cross-border online traineeship for a period of 3 months. Well, approximately 50% of the application were for women application. However, in terms of final participation, 64% were women compared to the 36% men. As you can check, the most notable difference is in the online traineeship. Well, finally, let me introduce the real stars of this activity. Piero in Greece, Doa in Rome, Alice in Barcelona, Sherif in Slovenia, Sulkani in Portugal, Sergio in Greece, Chainet in France, Nicola in Spain, Hien in Portugal, Neza in Italy, Asma in Spain, Khadija in Morocco, Minja in Austria, Kaliena in Morocco, Ezra in Spain, William in Cyprus, Gada in Italy, Alessia in Spain, Otman in France, and Sukaina in France too. They are the real stars of this activity. And of course, please, the hosting institutions. Thank you very much. Thank you a lot for your incredible contribution to this activity. Well, this is the main results in this activity, in this work package 3. But we would like to give the floor to this protagonist. With us today are 3 participants and 2 hosting institutions in order to explain their personal experience. Alessia, Cherif, and Hien, thank you so much to join us. They developed the mobility or the online traineeship in Spain, Institute of Oceanography in Spain, Slovenian National Institute of Biology in Slovenia, and Geobiotech Research Center in Aveiro, Portugal. And Carme Alomar and Fernando Tavares Rochas, who are representing 2 hosting institutions. In one side, Spanish Institute of Oceanography in Spain, and Geoscience Department in University of Aveiro, Portugal. Thank you all for your attendance. And please, if it's possible, to connect your camera and your microphone in order to start with the roundtable, please.
Hi, hello, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much, Alexia. Welcome. And
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm Alessia Rossi from Italy. And first of all, I really would like to thank the Deep Blue organization for having invited me here today. Indeed, I'm very glad to be here today with you and to have the opportunity to share my Deep Blue experience with you. I am a marine biologist, and after my PhD in marine biology, I attended the first edition of the Advanced Master in Sustainable Blue Growth. And January to April 2021, I joined the project. Indeed, I did my online internship, and I mean, my hosting institute was the Spanish Graphic Center. And in particular, I collaborated with the Oceanographic Center, and my supervisor was Dr. Carmen Alomar. However, my internship was developed in the perspective, in the framework of the BlueMed initiative. So I would like to say thank you very much to Dr. Margherita Cappelletto and Fedra Francocci for their support. My experience, I mean, my Deep Blue experience was great. I am totally satisfied of this experience. Indeed, I mean, the subject, the main object of my internship was sustainable tourism in the Mediterranean Sea. And in particular, we investigated the sustainable tourism and the efforts of tourism stakeholders in 2 very touristic areas of the Mediterranean Sea, Balearic Islands and Tuscan Archipelago Toscano. And I mean, we performed with Dr. Carmen Alomar, we performed a bibliographic review, and we approached the tourism stakeholders. So, I mean, we performed some online interviews. And so, I mean, I'm very happy because I developed the networks with colleagues to collaborate with in future. So thank you again very much. And of course, thank you very, very much to Carmen because she was great. And thank you, sorry, and thank you, of course, to you, Elisa, because I mean, your availability was great. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Alessia. it's a pleasure to be working with you this month, and it's a fantastic work with Carmen and the Institute of Oceanography in Spain. Thank you. Cherif, I think Cherif is not possible to connect the camera because he has some problems with the camera, but Cherif, can you explain us your experience and what kind of activity do you develop during your mobility activity? Because Cherif is one of the people who spend the time, spend the activity in Slovenia in the mobility action. Please, Cherif, can you share with us your experience?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like as I told you, I have a problem of have a flu, so I think I will not be able to talk more. But the experience was great. And then as a conclusion, we have 2 articles, and yeah, and we open a new axe of research with the Slovenian Institute of Biology, and it was a very good experience for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cherif, and congratulations for the papers and for your experience in the Slovenian Institute. So the next participant is Hien. Yes, Hien is with us. Thank you so much for joining this event, and please explain your experience and what kind of activity do you develop in the Blue project, please.
Yeah, great. Hello, everyone. So finally, I saw you, Elisa. We exchanged a lot of emails.
Yeah.
I remember sometimes every day. So yeah, nice meeting you. So my name is Jihen. I'm postdoctoral researcher in Monastir University in Tunisia, PhD in Earth and Environmental Sciences. So what I did during 3 months of Deep Blue mobility, online mobility, is that I had the chance to work with my ex supervisor, PhD supervisor that I had in Portugal. We came out with this innovative idea to recycle mine waste, not for construction purposes like we used to do, but for water treatment purposes. So the idea was that I go to Portugal and I do all the work by myself. It was the work that we planned at first was for 6 months, but unfortunately we had to reduce the mobility to 3 months. But Professor Fernando Rocha was very kind not to change anything about the first proposal. So we did not have any modification, and we did all the work that was planned to do for the in-person internship. And I really would like to thank Dr. Slavka Andrikovikova, which is an ex-NASA scientist that she helped me a lot during my internship in Aveiro University. She was always telling me, giving me ideas, new ideas and new solutions. And because of also the situation there in Portugal, they had to go on 3 months, I think, or more of lockdown. So doing the work was very, very challenging for them too. But they managed to do it. Like and they always, and still today they are sending me some results. So thank you for the Deep Blue mobility, and thank you for Fernando Rocha if you are here. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, Hien, thank you so much. It has been a pleasure working with you this month, and congratulations for the results your traineeship, online traineeship. Thank you. Carme Alomar is from one of the hosting institutions in the Deep Blue project activity about online traineeship. So Carmen, please introduce yourself and then your name, but the entity, the position, and what kind of activity has been developed in the Deep Blue framework. Please, thank you so much, Carmen.
Hello, good afternoon to everyone. In first place, I want to thank for the Deep Blue organization for inviting me to this event. My name is Carme Alomar. I'm a marine ecologist at the Spanish Institute of Oceanography, the Balearic Center. And as Alexia has explained, I have been a host tutor, in this case with Alexia, which has been a pleasure to work with her. I also want to thank her because it has been a really interesting procedure, and it was the first time that we did some online traineeship, and I think it went really, really great. And as Alexia has explained very good and carefully, we've been working with the marine litter and the touristic sector. And also I want to say that in the Spanish Institute of Oceanography, I'm part of the Impact at Sea research team, which we are studying human impacts in coastal biodiversity and ecosystems. And one of our main functions is to study the marine litter in these ecosystems. So this online traineeship has been really great for me as well as for Alexia. And thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much to the Institute, because your contribution is very important in this activity. And thank you, Carmen, for your work with tutor, with Alexia tutor. Thank you so much. I don't know if Fernando Tavares Rochas is in the session, in the event. Sorry, Fernando, are you here? I don't know, because Fernando has classes until this hour. I don't know, but don't worry, because we can continue with the roundtable. I want to ask you, all the candidates and Carmen, one question about these activities. I would like to ask you about the scientists' cooperation and ecosystem generated in the Med Basin. Your challenge, the opportunities that you have see in your traineeship, in your mobility. Can you explain us your point of view, please? Alessia, Carmen, Hien, Cherif.
Yes, okay, yes, here I am. Okay, so I think that this kind of opportunity is, such a golden opportunity, because I think that is necessary to work all together in order to have a better future, to get a better future. And for example, in our field, it is crucial to work together and to share a common methodology, for example, to fight plastic pollution, because as you know, pollution has not border. It is crucial to have a common and a shared strategy and methodology to approach and to fight these, for example, plastic pollution, but in general, for example, climate change or something like this. And so the cooperation among different Mediterranean countries, I think that, in my opinion, it is essential to win this fight, this challenge. This is my point of view.
This is the sentence that Bunir included in the presentation, the last slide, about to work together or to work alone. Yeah. So I don't know if Carme or Hien or Sherif, can you give your point of view, please?
Yes. Building on what Alexia has just said, I think that in the field work with the sampling methodologies, we are advancing in a harmonization to tackle against marine litter and other contaminants or other marine sciences. But also I think that this approach has to be taken into consideration with the science diplomacy, which is what is being tackled with this initiative and project. And online traineeships and also in exchange of students and researchers is very important to go in with this line and move onwards to work together to improve the Mediterranean and also to conserve the biodiversity.
Okay, thank you so much, Carmen. Hien or Sherif? Yeah, Hien.
Yeah. So what Alexia said is very important. It's very important and it's very crucial for us scientists and researchers to work with other institutions and other organisms. And given my country of origin, Tunisia, the possibility to do internships is not it's not very possible all the time to do it because of the financial problems. So opportunities like the Deep Blue are very important for early career scientists to have. And we in the Mediterranean region we have like very common problems like metal pollution. The problem I'm working on. It's not a problem only for a city or for Tunisia. It's very common in all of the Mediterranean region. So yeah, it's very important. And on that time of Corona pandemic, being able to work was a privilege. Being able to produce something was very important. So that experience was on a personal level was very important for me for my mental health, I would say it. And yeah, I'm very happy with that experience.
Thank you for your words, Hien. And Sherif, do you want to share your perspective? Sherif? I don't know if you are here. Well, don't worry. I have another question for you, for all the women in the round table, and it is about the mobility. When we thought about mobility, we are thinking about Hien will travel to Portugal, and they have a real experience in Aveiro, in University of Aveiro with Fernando Rocha, with the professor Fernando Rocha. But in fact, and due to the health situation, it's not possible, and we have to remind the situation and say, okay, a new online formula is the only the unique possibility for this activity. So it is possible. This is my question. Is it possible to work online in academic or a scientific field in the deep blue economy? Because Alessia and Hien are the best testimony right now about this possibility. But do you think it's possible? Is real possible to work online?
It is possible, yes. The proof that I did it, I have results, and I'm writing a paper. But it's very difficult because we have to go to the lab, we have to make things, we have to do experiments, and asking someone else to do it for you is not I don't know, but it's better for us to be in the lab and do our experiments by ourselves, because sometimes we had to I don't know, make things better or just do things our way. So I had the chance to work with very helpful or supportive scientists that did all the lab work for me. But I don't know if I will ever have this chance in the future.
Okay, Hien, congratulations for your paper.
Thank you, thank you.
And what do you think, Alessia and Carmen?
Yes, I completely agree with Yihan, because I mean it's possible, of course, but of course it's very, very difficult. Yeah, it's very difficult because I mean I really prefer, you know, social interactions and direct contact. I like this kind of interactions. So yeah, it's possible to work online, but of course, yes, it's difficult. It's difficult. I mean, you have to put a lot of efforts, of energy in order to achieve some results. For example, from my point of view, it was a little bit difficult to arrange the online interviews with tourism stakeholders, because we approached them by email and sometimes they didn't reply at all. And of course, it was not so easy to have a kind of contact, you know, also an emotional contact with them. So yeah, it was a little bit difficult. Yeah,
I agree with you, Alessia.
Yeah,
I've lost the social life in Spain. Okay. Yeah, Carmen, please.
Yes, also adding to what Alexia has just said, I think that in our case, for a first phase, it was okay to do like the online interviews, even if we had some difficulties. But also, I think that it was very difficult for Alexia maybe to know how the Balearic society works, because she talked with lots of people here, lots of different stakeholders, but if you are not in the field, you don't really know how everything works. So we're not doing laboratory experiments, but I think that this first phase has to be complemented with field work.
Okay, I completely agree with you, Carmen. Thank you so much. And Professor Fernando Rocha is here. Welcome, Professor Rocha.
Thank
you for your attendance in this final event and your experience in the mobility, in this case, online traineeship action in the Deep Blue program. Please, can you introduce yourself and say your entity, your position, and what kind of activity has been developed in the Deep Blue framework, please?
Thank you, Elisa. Sorry for the delay, but I was facing some problems with the connection. It's a pleasure to be in this meeting. I will not be able to stay all the time due to some else problems that I'm facing now. Nothing too much serious, but nevertheless a little disturbing. I'm full professor of applied mineralogy at the Geoscience Department of University of Aveiro, Portugal, and also director of Geobiotech Research Center. My personal interests are focused on clay and clay minerals, mainly in industrial applications, thinking about ceramics, paper, adsorbents, new construction materials, like, for instance, geopolymers. And I'm personally involved in teaching staff and postdoc student mobilities since more than 20 years, receiving students and researchers for several countries, not only European ones, but also around the Mediterranean, and also from Africa and from Latin America. And in the other way, going also to several European countries to give, for instance, Erasmus intensive programs and similar activities. In this particular case, it was very, very interesting because due to the present day limitations that all of you are also facing, it was not possible to receive GN on a personal way here in Aveiro, so we need to do it on an online system. So it was a new DeFi for both of us, but it was also a good opportunity to check once again, because it's not the first time I work with GN, but to assess once again her capabilities, her autonomy, her initiative that in this case were much more relevant to fulfill the main objectives. So for this first intervention, I think that all I can say for the moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Rocha, for your attendance in this event and your work with GN in the tutor hosting institution. Professor Rocha, we are talking about what do you think about it is possible to work online in the academic field in the deep blue economy? What do you think about this?
Well, I think it's possible. Of course, this put much more pressure on the applicant, okay? Because it's quite different from receiving the applicant on our institution. We have everything routinated here to receive people. We're always receiving someone in my lab. So the system of support is smooth operated. And of course, on this new way of doing the things, everything is new. Okay, so we need to solve problems ongoing. So it's not only a training for the young people, it's also a training for the tutors. We are getting new competences. So I think at the end, we should also be evaluated. If we have gave the needed support to young people.
Okay, Professor Rocha, thank you so much for your words. And we are out of time. Many thanks to the participants and the hosting institution for your comments and interesting contributions. Let's continue with the event. And now I give the floor to my colleagues in order to explain the activities and results developing Work Package 4. Sorry. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Elisa. Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you. And it was really a pleasure to listen to all the mobility participants. So thank you very much. And the testimonial also of the host institutions. Thank you. We move on and we have the activity 4. It's about the study visit. And they see we add a word that we never supposed to add it, a remote study visit, because the study visit was supposed to be in presence, and unfortunately it became a remote study visit. So it was virtually organized by OGS, and I ask Maria Zanenghi to present this. Please, Maria.
Thank you very much. Actually, Munir, you are right, because the study visit was conceived to be in presence, in the occasion of the ES of 2020, the European Science Open Forum, which take place by every 2 years in a place in Europe, promoting research and innovation. So the idea was to share with the participants the opportunity to know and to understand realities and new entities and researchers from abroad. Please, I listen to other microphones. Okay, so now I would like to share a few slides about this activity, and also I would like to take the opportunity to say hello to Elisa, because we have been working on the mobility and online traineeship program together. And I've seen also that the other participants of that program are online. So I say hello to everybody. And concerning this remote study visit, so we were pushed to do an online study visit. This activity was conceived for the 5+5 dialogue delegates, the delegates of the Minister for Research, Innovation and Higher Education of the Western Mediterranean countries. However, because of the change of the dates, because the ES of 2020 switched from July to September, and the few time in order to organize the availability and also all the disorder of that time because of the pandemic outspread, we enlarged the beneficiaries of this activity, and we invited young researchers, professionals, and also few delegates of the 5+5 had the opportunity and had the time to take part to this study visit. This was the opportunity to understand, of course, if it was in presence, the Trieste system, gathering a lot of international and national research institute and laboratories and international centers. So the idea was to gather and connect and to have an international environment and to exchange ideas, project, and research results. Finally, we took part to online sessions promoted by the ES of 2020, which was on a hybrid formula because of the pandemic. So there were few sessions in presence, but most of the session and the collaborators were online. So in light of the topic and the issues of our Deep Blue project, we selected some of the main interesting sessions to follow together with the 18 participants and to tackle common challenges affecting also the Mediterranean area. So you can see in this agenda some of the activities we face and we attend with the participants, and also we add some other sessions organized by our institute and our partners in order to, for example, talk about the European Network for Research in Geoenergy, or the CO2 GeoNet, which is a European scientific body on CO2 geological storage. So we also face concrete projects in order to exchange ideas and also good practices. That was one of the aims. So here you have an infographic summarizing the result of the remote study visit, which is it gathered 20 participants representing 7 countries from the Mediterranean. It was unfortunately online, and it lasted 6 days. That's all for this activity. I can share with you some pictures of screenshots because we run everything online. That's all. I give the floor to Munir moderating the session. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Maria. Thank you. And I move on, and we have the activity number 5, and it's about the training of trainers, sustainable development of fisheries. And I'm very pleased to call Hajar Zarrouk from the Higher Institute of Aquaculture and Fishery of Bizerte. Please, Hajar, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for the invitation, Dr. Munir Ghoribi. I will just start sharing with you my screen.
If you have problem, we could share it from here.
Well, I'm trying to, but if it doesn't show, no, it's showing. Actually, it's just taking time, and it's there. I can see it's working. Can you see it now?
Yes, yes. No, you can just have the full screen, and then you start.
Yes, sure. So, can you see it now? Can you see it? Can you see it now? Can you see it now?
It's still on the first.
Yes, first slide. Okay, great. So my name is Hajar Zarouk, and I am speaking from ISPA Wizard, the leader of Work Package 5. In this presentation, we are going to actually our project or our package had to be conducted online for due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and I wanted to seize this opportunity to show you the location of ISPA, share with you some vivid pictures. So ISPA, as you can see, it's in a city of beauty. It's in the north of Tunisia, in the city of Wizard, and it is between the mountains, between the forest, and between El Rimal beach. So this makes it an exceptional location to study and research the field of aquaculture and fishery. Despite its young age, ISPA was founded in 2003. It is endowed with many facilities like marine biology labs, fishing gear laboratory, bivalve hatchery, aquaculture rearing space, and algaculture space. ISPA collaborates with other organizations, private sector, and NGOs in the field of fisheries, aquaculture, and marine ecosystems in order to enhance management of natural resources and develop the aquaculture activity. Its main research areas tackle shellfish culture, fish farming, marine aquaculture, fishing technologies, aquatic environment, and valorization of seafood and aquaculture products. The research team members who worked on the W5 project are Dr. Sami Midi, Rim Nouri, Rawia Ghanem, Mohamed Shalghaf, and myself, Hajar Zarouk. Talking about the work package 5, the training of trainers, effective management and sustainable development of resources and aquaculture. Actually, it was planned to be, but due to constraints on mobility, we had to hold it online and to actually go through many changes, as the colleagues previously commented on the constraints of working online. But we will highlight some also advantages that we have gained. To accelerate the development of scientific knowledge on promoting sustainable exploitation of the water resources, such as small-scale fisheries and aquaculture, to foster the creation of a new scientific partnership between the institutions involved in the training, to share good practices, data, methodology, and tools among participants in the field of marine sciences, to promote a comprehensive approach and in-depth understanding of the functioning and applicability, capabilities, and limitations of models and analytical approaches in the Mediterranean basin. As I said earlier, there were some changes due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but here we want to highlight the agility of ISPA and the achievements we made. So dates and mode of delivery had to be changed. The number of participants, however, on the positive side, we were limited to 30 participants when it was planned face-to-face. But when it was conducted online, we had the opportunity to offer 52 participants to participate in the training. So we were honored with the presence of well-renowned panelists. We had 14 different speakers, and they actually participated from the different regions of the Mediterranean. But we had also one speaker from Tokyo speaking about other case studies and enriching actually the presentation. The training, as originally proposed, included a theoretical part as well as field trips. We couldn't do this as well, so we produced a documentary that you will see in the video later. And more information about the content actually of the package. We wanted it to be animated, so we put it in the video so that you can see some lively pictures from ISPA instead of doing everything, just sharing some screenshots. So more details will come in the video later, and I invite you to watch them in the video. So interaction also, we had quizzes in the presentation. So after each presentation or intervention, we had quizzes to engage our participants. interaction also between participants and speakers, and exchange of information and contact information was noticed in the chat box. And we can say that this was a real opportunity for networking. People shared their contact information and a lot of resources actually. Sharing of the recording of the sessions. When we finished, we sent the recording to our participants. We also uploaded, the OGS uploaded the videos and to the Deep Blue website. We wanted also to share with you some of our results and evaluation by the participants. So as you can see in this graph, we had more than 90 participants agreeing or strongly agreeing that they benefited from the training and that the training was useful to them. After the training, upon verification of attendance, we issued certificates and we sent them both to speakers and to participants. So as an end note, we want to highlight that ISPA took all necessary actions to get the most of what was initially planned. The online training of trainers contributed to capacity building as stated in the project proposals. The topics tackled during the training were varied. They were rich in material and information. The participant highlighted the areas which enlarged their knowledge during the training, and we had long lists. And the training goals, as we can see from the evaluation, that the intended learning outcomes as well were achieved. In order to disseminate Work Package 5 and Deep Blue project in general, we had two local activities before this date that we want to share with you. We had a face-to-face local activity, Dissemination Day, on Wednesday, May 19th, 2021, where we had students from different institutions in Tunisia participating in this event. And it was an opportunity to talk to them about the project and involve a bigger number of scientists and researchers and do more networking between students and young researchers. We also had another online activity, local activity, with our partner University of Sfax for the dissemination of Work Package 2 and Work Package 5. And of course, the Deep Blue project in general and its partners. This presentation was opened at 10 a.m. and we had our guest Asma Sahiri Al-Abidi, the Secretary General for Maritime Affairs, after it was opened by the President of the University of Sfax. And Mrs. Asma Sahiri actually accentuated and the necessity to update legal texts, development of blue economy and cooperation in the field of maritime jobs and affairs. This was followed by, we had the first session where we had the overview of Work Package 2 and its results, and an overview of Work Package 5, its results and testimonies from participants in these two packages, as you can see in these photos. We had 7 speakers talking about, and this was the session, as the name suggests, Synergy for a Sustainable Blue Economy. We wanted to create a synergy between Deep Blue project and other projects that are being conducted. And we invited the speakers from different institutions and organizations to present their projects and to do networking between themselves. After that, we had a discussion and closure, where Dr. Sami suggested, the General Director of ISPA suggested the creation of a network hosting all projects under the umbrella of the Secretary General of Marine Affairs. Of course, we took a photo souvenir, as this was conducted, and this is how I come to an end of our presentation. I wanted to share with you before I finish our contacts, and you can visit us at to see more picture actually, and to see more of the place that you couldn't visit in Tunisia physically at www.ispa.agrinet.tn. I would like to thank Dr. Munir Ghribi, to thank our partners, and to ask Julia to share with us the video, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now we will ask for the video, please, Julia.
The Higher Institute of Fisheries and Aquaculture of Bizerte was created in 2003 under the dual supervision of the Ministry of Agriculture, Water Resources and Maritime Fisheries and the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research. ISPAB awards 2 diplomas, a bachelor's degree in marine sciences, and a co-constructed professional master in engineering and sustainable management of fishery resources. ISPAB is partner and leader of several international projects, in particular the Deep Blue Project, for which it coordinates the Work Package 5, the training of trainers, effective management and sustainable development of fisheries resources and aquaculture. The Deep Blue Project aims at developing skills, building capacities, and enhancing the geopolitical dialogue in the Western Mediterranean region. The project is funded by the European Maritime and Fishery Fund, EMMF, and the European Agency for Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, EASME, within the framework of the Sustainable Blue Economy Call 2017. It was developed through the partnership with the following institutions: National Institute of Oceanography and Applied Geophysics, OGS, Italy; University of Sfax, Department of Life Sciences, Tunisia; Polytechnic University of Madrid; Center for Support for Technological Innovation, UPM CAIT, Spain; Higher Institute of Fishing Technologies and Aquaculture, ISPAB, Tunisia. The training of trainers on effective management and sustainable development of fisheries resources and aquaculture, WP5, was meant to be delivered on site, face-to-face for young professionals in the field. However, due to COVID-19 pandemic outbreak and restriction on mobility, the training of trainers was conducted online and ISPAB successfully hosted in between December 7th and 10th, 2020. 52 external participants who are mainly researchers, PhD students, young scientists, engineers, and high-skilled professionals in the field of marine sciences benefited from the training. The training of trainers covered 4 major topics: aquaculture, policies and fisheries management, policies and aquaculture management, biodiversity and non-indigenous species. The training was opened on December 7, 2020 by the General Director of the Higher Institute of Fishing Technologies and Aquaculture, ISPAB, Dr. Sami Mili, and Dr. Hisham Ben Salem, the General Director of the Institution and Agricultural Research and Higher Education, IRESA, Tunisia. After the opening session, the floor was handed over to Mr. Valerio Crespi from the Sub-Regional Office for North Africa of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, based in Tunis. Mr. Valerio gave an insightful presentation entitled The State of World Fisheries and Aquaculture. Then Mrs. Elisabetta Molero, who is a quantitative fisheries ecologist from the FAO General Fisheries Commission for the Mediterranean, GFCM, made a presentation on assessing the status of fishery resources towards effective management, why and how. The second session, Day 2, covered the topic policies and fisheries management, and it included 3 presentations. Presentation number 1, Unlocking the Potential of Aquaculture in the Mediterranean. Role of the GFCM was given by Mr. Hussam Hamza, together with Mrs. Linda Fordain and Mr. Georgios Paximadis, who joined from General Fisheries Commission for the Mediterranean, GFCM. The second presentation, Introduction of the Law of the Sea and the Role of RFMOs in Regulating Fisheries. The case of the GFCM was given by Mr. Ahmed Suleiman from the GFCM. Finally, Mr. Sufyan Mahjoub, who joined the event from the FAO Sub-Regional Office for North Africa and Tunis, and Mrs. Anna Carlson from the GFCM gave their presentation entitled Supporting Sustainable SSF, Implementing the SSF Guidelines and the RPOA SSF. Day 3 training session of the online training of trainers covered the topic policies and aquaculture management and included 2 presentations. Presentation number 1, Marine Spatial Planning and Aquaculture, Overview and Case Studies, was given by Mrs. Leila Basti from Tokyo University of Marine Science and Technology. The second presentation, Technologies Transfer for Aquaculture, Tunisian Case, was given by Mr. Mohamed Shalghaf from the CTA. Day 4 and last training session was successfully completed on December 10, 2020 and covered the topic biodiversity and non-indigenous species, and it included 2 presentations and a round table for the closure. Presentation number 1, Marine Protected Areas and Fisheries Management, was given by Mr. José Luis Sanchez from the University of Alicante, Spain. The second presentation, Spatial Dynamics and Non-Indigenous Fishes in the Mediterranean Sea, was presented by Mr. Ernesto Azzurro from the CNR IRBIM SZAD Italy, together with Mrs. Manuela Damen from the IRBIM CNR Ancona, Italy, and Mrs. Sonia Smeraldo, who is also affiliated to the IRBIM CNR Ancona, Italy, within the European Interreg project MPA Engage. Finally, the roundtable for the closure started with the intervention of Dr. Munir Garibi, the coordinator of the International Cooperation at the National Institute of Oceanography and Applied Geophysics, OGS, Italy. The presentation tackled issues related to the Blue Job under the title Blue Skills to Feed Jobs and Boost Innovation in the Mediterranean. The training, as originally proposed, included a theoretical part as well as field trips and several outdoor activities which aimed to allow participants from the Mediterranean to visit several fisheries and aquaculture stations in Tunisia. The visits had to be cancelled and ISPAB compensated this omission with a documentary which covered major aspects of the planned visits. The documentary videos focused on sharing good practices and helped the in-depth understanding of existing methodologies and tools for the promotion of sustainable exploitation of Mediterranean resources. The documentary is divided into 4 parts: industrial fisheries, small-scale fisheries, bivalve hatchery and shellfish parks, offshore fish farming.
Hello, I'm Ms. Jean Boulila, aquatic researcher at Aquabiotech Group in Malta. I would like to express my appreciation of the training session that I was part of. The training was very valuable and insightful experience for me. Also, I want to thank all the speakers of their professionalism and their high level of communication.
Bonjour, je suis Emma Deluy, je suis docteur en biologie marine et je travaille actuellement en tant que postdoctorante à l'INSTM, l'Institut national des sciences et technologies de la mer. J'ai eu le privilège d'assister à la formation des formateurs initiés dans le cadre du projet Deep Blue qui s'est tenu en ligne, ce qui a permis à un plus grand nombre de participants de prendre part à cette formidable opportunité. Cette formation a été très bénéfique pour moi. J'ai ainsi pu approfondir mes connaissances dans la gestion durable des ressources halieutiques. J'ai beaucoup apprécié les quiz et les documentaires, ce qui a rendu l'expérience d'apprentissage très amusante et très ludique. Je remercie vivement les organisateurs et les formateurs et les félicite pour la qualité et l'excellente tenue de cette formation. Merci.
Coucou, je m'appelle Khawla Bali, actuellement étudiante en 10e année master recherche en biodiversité des écosystèmes aquatiques. J'ai eu la chance d'être acceptée parmi 50 participants de la région de la Méditerranée à la formation organisée par l'ISPAB et Deep Blue. Donc, durant 4 jours, on a vu plein de choses. On a parlé de politique et gestion de l'aquaculture, des pêcheries, des espèces non indigènes à la Méditerranée. On a fait un cours de dynamique de population, une formation sur les aires marines protégées. C'était une formation très diversifiée et efficace. Merci beaucoup Deep Blue et l'ESPAB.
As part of the work package 6 of the Deep Blue project, and in order to ensure the visibility outputs and results to the partners and the beneficiaries involved in the whole Euro-Mediterranean region, and to share results and outputs with a broader public to enhance visibility of the existing capacity building programs and initiatives, the Higher Institute of Fisheries and Aquaculture of Bizerte organized 2 Decimation Days. The first Decimation Day for the Deep Blue project, local event, took place at the Institute on May 19, 2021 and includes a face-to-face activities. The aim of this event is to present an overview of the Deep Blue project and to share its results to a larger public of students and young researchers in the region of Bizerte and Tunis. The second event, Revisiting the Deep Blue Project, Synergy for a Sustainable Blue Economy, previously scheduled to take place on site in the city of Sfax in the presence of all parties, was conducted online due to COVID-19 pandemic outbreak and restrictions on mobility. The event was co-organized by the Higher Institute of Fisheries and Aquaculture of Bizerte and the University of Sfax on May 21, 2021. The event was scheduled in 2 sessions, a first session dedicated to the definition of the main activities and results of the Deep Blue project. The second session concerned the synergy between different initiatives and projects in the field of the blue economy, a joint effort which seeks to attain sustainable blue growth. Over 60 participants who are mainly researchers, PhD students, scientists, engineers, and high-skilled professionals in the field of marine sciences attended the event.
Thank you very much. I think that we came to an end. And maybe I should hand over the word to Dr. Sami Miri, just for his final thanking word. Thank you again, Dr. Sami. Dr. Sami Miri, can you hear me? Dr. Sami. Dr. Sami, can you hear us? Maybe he has a problem with the mic. Maybe I guess, yeah. So maybe he cannot join us. It's just to say thank you for the OGS team members, for all the people who are from our partners who collaborated with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sami Mili, too, and also all the team in Bizert. So thank you. It was really a pleasure to work with you all. Good. So let's now move on and to conclusion remarks. And I'm very pleased to have with us Anya Ditton, Project Advisor, European Maritime Fishery Fund, European Climate Infrastructure and Environmental Executive Agency, and Manuel Rigozuelo Alonso DG Mare, who will also be talking about outline policy and legislative framework. So please, Anya and Manuel, thank you for being here with us. And we are really very grateful, as you can see from all the faces here, happy to be also share with you all the results of the project. So the floor is yours.
Okay, so I think it's me. This is Manuel Pleguezuelo from DG Mare, from the unit in charge of the sea basin strategies. So one of these sea basin strategies is related to the West Mediterranean, and is the DG Mare and the European Commission is supporting the West Med initiative, which is very linked in terms of objectives and goals with the priorities exposed and the purpose of this project. So this is the first message that I would like to highlight. So thanks to the organizers for counting on the European Commission and DG Mare, and also with CINEA, and later I will pass the floor to my colleague Anya. In this case, as I said, it's important to highlight that the project is pursuing different objectives which are totally aligned with the goals of the West Med initiative. The skills development and circulation is one of these priorities, included in the goal 2, a smart and resilient blue economy. So it's aligned, it's included, and with your experience and with these activities that have been presented, you are contributing also to the achievement of the West Med initiative. But also the project, Deep Blue project, provides opportunities for cooperation. You know that the West Med initiative has an assistance mechanism and a different structure. And we think that it could be important as a follow-up that these specific trainings, activities, mobilities, activities can be a precedent for further collaboration. Sustainable blue economy is a shared priority, and your work could fulfill the existing education and skill gaps in both shores of the Mediterranean. We have also to recognize that your project has been a good example of collaboration between researchers, higher education institutions, but also with private sector of the different countries of the Mediterranean region. So this multi-actor and multi-level approach, it's quite important as a best practice to share with other Mediterranean areas. So it's important for you to know that next month, the 9th of June, we are preparing from the West Med Assistance Mechanism, but jointly with the Union for the Mediterranean, a webinar precisely on digitalization skills in aquaculture and tourism sectors in the Mediterranean region. So I encourage the participants and attendants to register and to follow this quite interesting event. And I think it's quite relevant to highlight that during the last months, from the European perspective, not only from the European Commission, but for the whole European Union, it has been deployed a new political framework, also considering this specific situation after the COVID-19 crisis. And this new political and legislative framework provides a suitable scenario for the follow-up of the project, for the follow-up of the purpose and the activities that you have presented. First of all, as you may know, the Union for the Mediterranean Ministerial Declaration on Blue Economy was published last February, and it's important to highlight that it refers expressly the WestMed initiative and the cooperation at sea basin level as a successful example of cooperation as a catalyst of the development of sustainable blue economy projects in the whole Mediterranean region. And blue skills are quite embedded in the blue economy as a whole. Secondly, also in February, at a broader scope, not only at WestMed, but as the whole Mediterranean, there were a joint communication of the renewed partnership with the Southern neighborhood countries. It's a new document, a new communication called a new agenda for the Mediterranean, which recognized the potential of blue economy and all the sectors and all the enablers as the blue skills, and also recognize the progress made by the WestMed initiative as a successful experience of sea basin strategy. There were also council conclusions also in April following this communication, reinforcing this message, mentioning expressly the role of the cooperation in the Western Mediterranean. But also in the upcoming weeks, we can say, apart from fostering sustainable fisheries and aquaculture, the new MFAF, the new European Maritime Fisheries Aquaculture Fund for the next budgetary period, 21-27, presents not only fostering fisheries or aquaculture itself, but also aims at enabling a blue economy in the development of coastal communities. In the whole exercise formation, blue skills and competences for maritime employments are expressly referred in the upcoming program period. And lastly, because it was just the last week, there has been a recent communication on sustainable blue economy, a new approach of sustainable blue economy that has just been published, as I said, because we are coming from the blue growth perspective from 2012, but now it's a new approach, including the European Green Deal in the blue sectors, with a special emphasis in its contribution, transforming the economy with a recovery exercise post-COVID-19. So this is not just for the EU members, but we consider that it's a suitable framework, also important to take into consideration for non-EU countries, which are our partners. And lastly, I would like to recall the latest developments of the WestMed initiative, because a part of the renewal of the Green Shipping Technical Group, with adaptation of commercial vessels as a pilot action, for instance, there has been the creation of a new technical group on sustainable aquaculture, and your experts, researchers, and different participants has referred that sustainable aquaculture has been one of the topics that you have deal with. And thirdly, a part of the green shipping aquaculture, there's another specific area of working, of joint work, which is a new maritime clusters alliance or network, especially focused on the southern partners. So Tunisia, which has been clearly referred in the president's presentations, has an important role in these twinnings activities and creation of a cluster alliance at the WestMed level. And there will be, as I said, upcoming events in digitalization and blue skills, and also in other topics as maritime spatial planning or sustainable tourism. So before passing the floor to my colleague from CINEA, I just would like to look forward to hearing about the plans for the future, for the follow-up of this project. And from DG Mare, from the Commission, we keep available for facilitating joint action and enhancing cooperation. And thanks for your work, recognizing also the difficult situation and the complications came across with the COVID-19 situation. So thanks, and let's work together in the future.
Thank you very much. Anya, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. So I'm Anya Dotant. I'm working in CINEA, in the agency that is managing a number of projects in the work program of DG Mare. and this project was one of them. So let me start by just congratulating you and everyone who was behind the project and in the project with what has been achieved, because we realized that these were difficult times for a very ambitious, nice program of exchange. And you have not been discouraged by all the difficulties. You have been very creative in finding, I would say, adapted solutions to what is possible in this difficult situation. And I can see that people are very enthusiastic. So it was successful, even if the original plan had to be adapted. So again, congratulations to all of you for this. As Manuel said, we really look forward to seeing a continuation in the mid and longer term of these kind of exchanges and experiments, because it's also a bit of an experiment on how to do these exchanges. A lot has been said by Manuel, but I can maybe add a couple of things which might be interesting for you. That is, first of all, that once the new work program of the European Maritime Fisheries and Aquaculture Fund is adopted, we will be launching new calls. Fisheries, aquaculture are part of this. There will also be a targeted call to the WestMed, which might be of interest, maybe not directly to you because the focus will be on tourism, but I think it's worth to keep an eye on what will be happening in our fund. That's a first thing. Then the second thing, I heard a lot about data, exchange of knowledge, maritime spatial planning, ecosystem-based approach, and all these things on which some other projects we are dealing with are actually also working. And I can announce for those who are interested, especially in MSP, so we had an MSP study to develop a toolbox for stakeholders and for administrations, member states, and all those working on maritime spatial planning. So toolbox was developed by under one of the contracts, and this will be published soon. That is one. So it's a publication which might be of interest, at least to some of you. A second one, which will also be published soon, is the so-called EBA study, so ecosystem-based approach for MSP. Where as well, there was a lot of analysis of relevant literature. There were reflections on how EBA is done in MSP in different sea basins, different case studies examined to come to a kind of also toolbox or guidance. So this will be also published in the next few weeks. Again, keep an eye on it. It will be announced on the Syria website and also on the EU bookshop. And for those who are working on MSP, I suppose you know the European MSP platform, which is a valuable resource for everything which is happening on MSP in Europe. But we also look across borders, and you are a very nice example of this. And looking across borders means also putting our heads together in thinking of what kind of data we need to do this fisheries management, to think of combating or mitigating climate change, etc. And another event which is upcoming, which I think is relevant for you, your community, is the EMODNet conference, which will be held online, unfortunately, between the 14th and the 16th of June. And I checked, it's still possible to register. And I think for all those working on data, exchange of knowledge, this is really a great opportunity as well. So I'm going to stop here because Manuel said really all the things you need to know on the policy framework, but we look forward to hearing from you, and congratulations once more.
Thank you very much. And I really appreciate your words and also how your approach also to invite people participating to our event, to other opportunities and available financial schemes. So thanks again. We are really very grateful for this financial support from the European Maritime Fishery Fund. And I now conclude by a video that will summarize the project. So thanks to everybody. Thank you all and hope to see you soon. Bye.
The Deep Blue project aims at developing education and employment partnerships for a sustainable blue growth in the Western Mediterranean region. The project is co-funded by the European Maritime and Fishery Fund, EMFF, and seeks to accelerate the development of the blue economy in the Mediterranean basin. The Deep Blue project aims at developing skills, building capacities, and enhancing the geopolitical dialogue in the Western Mediterranean region through international scientific cooperation and science diplomacy. The project is promoted by 4 partners from Italy, Spain, and Tunisia: the Italian National Institute of Oceanography and Applied Geophysics, University of Sfax, Department of Life Sciences, Polytechnic University of Madrid, and the Higher Institute of Fishing Technologies and Aquaculture.
The Deep Blue project aims at accelerating the development of blue economy sector in the Euro-Mediterranean region through private-public partnership, development of skills, entrepreneurship, research and innovation. Looking at the achievement of the Deep Blue project, we are satisfied. A high number of young people from the 2 shores has participated to the training path. This has consolidated the cooperation in between the 2 shores through the instrument of science diplomacy.
The project implemented several activities such as training for trainers, remote study visit, and a mobility program turned into an online traineeship. All the implemented activities focused on specific topics tackling issues related to marine sciences and land-sea interactions, and gathered more than 140 participants from the Mediterranean area.
During the Deep Blue project implementation, we reached to run 2 activities in presence along 2019. The pandemic outbreak at the beginning of 2020 forced the partnership to reshape their coming actions and finally turn into online activities. For example, the mobility program turned into an online cross-border traineeship. However, the idea of international collaboration and Euromed cooperation was maintained thanks also to the remote working tools that we put in place.
The project promoted 22 mobility scholarships for researchers, PhD students, young scientists, engineers, and highly qualified professionals coming from the broader Mediterranean basin. The aim of this activity is to support individual upskilling and public-private synergies between education and institutions working in the marine and maritime sectors in order to contribute to brain circulation and job creation across the region.
Promoting opportunities and communicating results was very important to build a cohesive blue growth community within and beyond the project lifecycle. We strengthened relationships between participants and hosting institutions, enhancing networking and knowledge sharing. We used mainly online channels, newsletter, website, and social media.
The Deep Blue project is aimed at developing skills and building capacities across the Mediterranean region. In spite of the changes that occurred during 2020 and 2021 because of the pandemic, the Deep Blue project pursued the set objectives. The project reached more than 140 participants from all over the Euro-Mediterranean area and involved more than 20 countries, hosting institutions and stakeholders.
Dear all, the final online event of the Deep Blue project is coming to an end. I would like to thank everybody for joining us, and also I would like to say to keep in touch, to stay tuned through our online social media and web page. We can write down the link and we will send you a follow-up email with all the information in order to follow our future project. And I don't know if someone wants to say a last word. Otherwise, I will say thank you to all our partners, to our speakers from the European Union. Thank you for joining us. It has been a pleasure to have this added value to our online final event. We tried our best to transform and adjust the project from a project in presence to an online project with all our tools. And I can say goodbye to everyone and thank you very much. Bye-bye.